Hey girl, you ready for this week's episode?
Yes, I am.
I gotta brace myself for this one because I know what we're talking about, and it is a hot ass mess out here. But we're gonna cover it all in today's episode of Is This How It Ends? We cover stories that are I just gotta shake my head, man. Or, like this can't be real life, can it? Maybe it is. I don't know. Wars, the alien takeover, robot revolution, conspiracies, trifling ass zodiacs, and we got so much more for y'all. And we'll pepper in some regular stuff, some lighter stuff, just so it's not all gloom and doom. All the stories you didn't think you wanted to know, but we're going to tell you anyway. So, our first story I think it's going to be the most this can't be real life story of today's episode. So, Nels, I'm going to let you.
All right, y'all. So we're going to get into some normal-ish, but it's not that normal at all. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be politically based, but I'm going to talk a little bit about something else, a little bit lighter first. But the overall theme is man beef, okay? So the 4th of July, Kendrick Lamar, he released a video for Not Like Us, and it was petty as hell. Now, we have not been following the beef like that. Kind of talked about it briefly in the past. But one day when I was home, I caught up. And Soph, because you're a writer, I think you'd appreciate it. It's pretty juicy, you know, and I'm obsessed. And, OVO is Drake's record label or whatever. And they're...
that's what that means. Okay.
Owl. So you see in the music video, he has a piñata and he's beating up the owl, and at the end, the owl's in the cage. And then it's like, I know why the cage bird sings, Maya Angelou. Kendrick has like quadruple entendres. That's how he does. Okay. Mm-hmm. But y'all check out that video, and maybe down the line, we'll talk about it more. Okay. So now on from middle-aged rap beef to geriatric political man beef.
They're old.
Yeah, right. They're old, right? So I don't know if you guys have watched the first of 2 presidential debates. It aired on June 27th, and it was hosted by CNN. And y'all, this has been, if you haven't watched it, please do, because this is the start of like why people are scrambling. And I just don't understand why you guys are just now scrambling. And this man was going to get old, but we'll get to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize how bad it was until that night.
It's bad, right? So they said that Biden, he had a cold, so he sounded very frail, but he sounded like, girl, he was about to go up to the upper room, girl. Like, like, don't walk into the light, okay? And then Trump was ducking and dodging questions like he was doing the little Kim dance. Like, when it came to the truth, it just wasn't there, right? And so Biden called Trump a whiner, and Trump talked about immigrants taking Black jobs. It was a whole heap of a hot mess. And there was times when Biden was just so confused that
Trump was that part. Oh my God. He's like, oh, you know what he's so wrong?
Like the words just couldn't get out, right? And then it got even weirder when there was a question that was asked to Biden about, his age and his capability to run. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, Trump was like, well, I can still play golf. And then Biden was like, well, can you carry your own golf bag? So I wish I was making this up.
I mean, yeah,
I was like, both of y'all are old as hell. You should only be talking about who can out-rock each other in a rocking chair, okay? Sit your asses down, all right? And so the debate did touch on issues like economy and healthcare and like their tax plans. But Trump lied throughout the whole thing. I don't know where the fact checkers were. They lied throughout the whole thing. And I think Biden did have some good points about what he has done. But you're just afraid he's going to take his last breath. You're just scared, that he's just going to fall out. It was just very much a hot mess. And overall, it was very hard to watch. And this is one of 2 debates. Now, there is a theory out there that the reason why this particular debate was held so far in advance, because normally it's closer to the time of elections, is that the Dems or the people on Biden's team wanted people to see how bad it was so that he'd be forced to step down, right? And it'd be done in enough time so that they could find someone. If it was closer to when the election was, it'd be harder to find someone, but they still have time. So that's one of the theories that I've heard.
Okay.
But anyway, so basically after the debate, the Dems are scrambling. Biden's approval rate has plummeted to 36%. And they're scrambling, but I'm confused by the scrambling because we do have a vice president, right? But I feel like no one takes Kamala seriously.
Did anyone take Pence? Like, no one thinks about the vice president. They're kind of like an afterthought. Like, what do they do?
I think people took Pence seriously. And here's why I think people took Pence seriously. Because, with Trump and everything, people are actually more scared of Mike Pence becoming the president if something should happen with Trump, because Pence is actually competent. Okay. Trump is so all over the place or whatever, but Pence actually makes sense. So to have someone with the same kind of ideals as Trump, but is actually competent, is more scary. But no one is thinking about with Kamala. I'm like, why are we scrambling when we have a vice president? What's the point of having a vice president?
Right. And they're looking at approval, like who has a better chance. So it's her, that Kennedy, who, I don't know if you heard, like there was like some like a worm like ate a part of his brain. But they compared like a couple of people, and they actually said she comes out on top, like, but by like points. So I don't know, but I think the way these conservatives are, I think there'll be a coup if she were to get on that, a woman no less, black and a woman. No, they're like, we allowed one black person, and we're not allowing another one, especially not a woman. So.
Well, I was just watching something where they did a poll, and even like Hillary Clinton got more than Trump in terms of approval, and they did Kamala as well. So I think the Republicans, they don't want the Dems to find someone else, right? Because now it's just like anybody else, just no Trump. But now we have to choose between a guy with one foot in the grave and Trump. Trump is looking better. So I just feel like the Dems, like, you knew this was happening. You knew he's going to age, and nobody thought of a contingency plan. Like, who's running the country? I saw a video where they talked about he's supposed to have these meetings with like these, this German meeting with Germany, something like that. And it was at 8:00, and I guess that's past his bedtime. So he couldn't make it. And so it was like an important meeting. And so they were covering up for him. So it's like, well, you can't be the president after 8:00. Biden needs his naps. Biden needs to sleep. This is very scary. You ever seen that movie, Weekend at Bernie's?
I just thought about Weekend
at Bernie's. It's Weekend at Bernie's, right? And
oh my God.
This is just a trickle down effect, okay? Trickle down effect, okay? Because Biden's competency is also, it looks bad on the Democrats, right? And you have to think about the rest of the ballot and who else is running, right? And so this could lead to losses in the House and the Senate, and just impacting the overall party's control of like the legislative agenda.
Right.
So it's a big deal.
We have retirement ages for every industry. We should have one for them as well, right? He should have been on that ballot.
Yeah, and they know better. And others were saying that maybe his administration wants him to continue to run so that they still have jobs. And I was like, y'all, if you think that way, then you do not need to be in any political arena whatsoever.
But everyone in the political arena does think that way. They're very selfish and self-serving. You may go in thinking you want to do good, but I don't know what happens, especially if you're in there long enough. I read somewhere that the majority of everyone we elect, right, the majority of their time, I think it's upwards of like 70%, don't quote me, all do your research, is spent on re-election. Right? So you just got into office. A majority of your time is spent on how am I going to get reelected the next time around. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's all about winning.
Yeah, and there's so much money in it. There's so much money in politics. It's
just not about what's for the good of the American people.
It's not for the good of the American people. And I talk about this all the time, right? When I think about someone like a Nancy Pelosi, I say her name a lot because she can't possibly understand the plight of the middle class, right? Like, I think they're fighting for stuff, not because they believe in it, but that is their base and that is how they're going to win and stay in control.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
She give two shits about anything else. Like, nope. I don't fully, because there were things that Democrats could have done while in office that they didn't do it. You know, so they're just, oh my God.
It's a mess, but I mean, what's really scary is that it looks like Trump could be back in the White House. And it's I don't know if you remember the Supreme Court ruling that just happened. Was it like last month?
Yeah.
Where this is from NPR. Landmark decision. The Supreme Court found that presidents have absolute immunity for exercising their core constitutional powers and are entitled to a presumption of immunity for other official acts. The court also ruled the presidents do not have immunity for unofficial acts. So all this time, him being charged and like going to court, like, I don't understand.
Yeah. So they have to go back and say, what are those unofficial acts? And that's it's.
And you can make up the definition, like, because what do you define as unofficial, official? And then you can twist and contort the definition to whatever and say that it was all official. And so he won't get charged. He's immune. This is insane. And I don't know if our forefathers, not my forefathers, but you know what I mean, right? The American forefathers thought about these things in terms of the Constitution, in terms of the laws. Like, what do you do in situations like this? Like, no one thought about age limits. He's an old white man, so
I feel like old white men have been running shit for so long. They'll continue running shit for so long. Like, they don't, like, they love power.
You can't be father time. Like, we're all going to get old. You can't beat it. And, you know, these old people, I heard Maxine Waters saying something to somebody like, I love Auntie Maxine. You know, I'm always going to reclaim my time. But she's like, well, I'm older than Biden. So that means you need to sit your ass down too, Maxine.
Why are they making policies? I think I can't. Like, there should be an age limit. I get it, right? You know, like, there are people still in their 90s who are still with it, who are super smart and all of that, but just, I can't.
It's a mess,
especially for the presidency, right? Because once you get up there, it's a possibility that you might not make it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So y'all, if Trump or Republican, I mean, Trump is trying not to attach himself to Project 2025 now, but he was. He still is. He's just not saying it outright. If we get a Republican in office, then we need to start thinking about what that really means, right? So I've been seeing it more in the news, even at the freaking BET Awards. I saw they talked about Project 2025. So I'll just explain to you guys what it is, like an overall definition. So it is spearheaded by the Heritage Foundation, which aims to reshape the U.S. federal government through conservative and right-wing policy proposals. If a Republican, likely Donald Trump, wins the election, the project seeks to consolidate executive power, reclassify federal civil service workers, and implement Christian values in government and society.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane.
Christian values. You know about Christian values. Huh?
But like all the federal workers, and like you're going to pull them out, and then you're going to have people that are more aligned with your agenda. That's a part of like things and services that
want ultimate power. They are not satisfied with anything else. They want ultimate power so they could tell you what to do, how to do it. They don't believe in freedom. You cannot tell me these people believe in actual freedom.
It's diabolical. So the key goals include dismantling various federal agencies, cutting environmental regulations, reducing social program funding, and promoting conservative economic and social policies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So who would this impact? Right? It would impact federal civil service workers. Many could be reclassified or replaced with political appointees.
Mm-hmm.
It would affect women, people of color, and the LGBTQIA community, potentially undermining of civil rights protections. So all this legislation that has been passed to give us rights, or could be done with, right? Mm-hmm. Environmental advocates reduce regulations favoring fossil fuel production, and global warming is already an issue. And also, recipients.
It's an issue. They don't think that's why they're trying to get rid of the the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Is it NOAA?
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're against science, so they are anti-science.
Yes, anti-science.
Mm-hmm.
It can also affect the recipients of social programs, so cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and potentially other social services. And also, it would affect supporters of public education, possible abolition of the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all. So this is what's at stake if the Dems don't get it together, if we don't go out and vote. I was like, I'm not going to vote. But
yeah. And I think sometimes we frame things in terms of race, but this is not, it's going to impact, we know who it's going to disproportionately impact.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't care about the working class. This is an attack on the working class when you think about what they're doing to the unions, right? Or what they're doing to workers. So you've talked on this, right? They are trying to reinstate a Trump era policy that would make it easier to classify workers as independent contractors rather than employees, right? Reducing their rights.
Mm-hmm.
Want to weaken the NLRB, critical to protecting workers' rights organizing. They hate unions. Mm-hmm. The craziest thing I heard was that it's not the craziest, but it was kind of like what? So they proposed a company-controlled union. Janelle, could you imagine? They don't even want to pay you.
What?
They're a company-controlled. Can you imagine?
That's an oxymoron.
Right? I'm going to be like, I need more vacation days. And like, you know what? The rep would be like, you know what? We're going to think about that. Great idea. And then it'll go up to like the CEO. He'll wipe his ass with that and be like, let's give him a fucking pizza party.
Yep.
You were sexually harassed. Pizza as an apology. They are pro-life, but they hate the kids. Like they hate kids. All right. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to unions and trying to weaken those laws. They are trying to ease child labor laws, allowing younger workers to take on more dangerous jobs currently restricted under existing regulations. So this proposal is driven by a desire to address labor shortages in hazardous fields by enabling adolescents to perform work typically reserved for adults. So adults don't want to take these jobs.
So now we're going to give them to kids.
We don't give them these kids because you know what? Fuck them kids.
Yeah.
We're going to be pro-life in all aspects. You hear about conservative states constantly cutting school meal, benefits for children.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and for women, oh my God, women.
Look.
We can't even, they're very concerned about us, right? They're very, they're so concerned about our health and they want to control every aspect of our reproductive health. Be against abortion, but then make it so that there's family planning, right? Like, but they want to abolish even like getting birth control.
Yeah, it is.
It is so.
It is wild to me, right? You want more women to have children, right? But look at the pay gap that still exists, right? Mm-hmm. You want more women to have children, but look how much childcare costs. It costs the amount of freaking tuition out here.
Yeah.
Like, you're not making things easier for women to have children. Educated women are making the decision not to have children because look at the economy. Look at what's going on here.
Yeah. They don't.
Look, we're going to force you. You don't have these kids.
Yeah.
And be in poverty.
Yep. Women impacted, like children impacted, like the people who are safe, right? The wealthy people, those making these decisions. Businesses are the biggest winners, which is why they probably don't care if Trump is in office, right? Because they get to continue to maximize profits at the expense of the workers. Boeing is out here pleading guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States for its role in 2 fatal MAX crashes. You know what they will pay, I think, for up to 487 million in fines, meaning it could be less. No one goes to jail, right? And what's wild to me is like they're under the gun for these safety issues, and they have like two whistleblowers who died, you know, of regular natural causes. But we still put our Americans on their rocket, and they're now stranded. They're stranded.
Oh yeah.
They were supposed to be home, and so like all of this. When you see who benefits, it's not we the people. It's like the 1% of we the people, you know, but just regular folks like us. Like this is gonna be hard. Like I don't care. These Republicans who think for whatever reason they think Trump, who's been rich all his life, cares about the little people. He does not. He cares about himself, his family, his money.
Absolutely not. Anyone that tries to Black people, any Black person that is aligned with like, oh, I'm a vote for Trump, you're a dummy. You're an absolute dummy.
This man said Black jobs, because you know what? He associates us with certain, like we're not even on his level. We're not equals.
Well, he's not talking to me because I have a Caucasian job. Caucasian job.
I just have a damn job, okay? That's what I retire from.
Absolutely not. Podcast. But yeah, that's what he thinks. That's what he thinks of us.
Yeah.
Right? So vote if you vote. Go out there and vote. And Dems get it together.
They haven't got. I think they.
So I don't understand. Like, you have no plan B. You have no plan C. Why are these people hired? You know this man is getting old.
Yeah. You know what you should be. You know what? There are a lot of undercover Trump voters. You know what? I'm not even going to talk. You could vote however you want, but just know this. This impacts most Americans.
Yes. Project 2025.
All the immigrants is not going to do anything. All right. That's why they're trying to get kids in these jobs, because nobody wants to do these jobs, or like kicking out immigrants is not going to do. I don't know what they expect it to do, but
no.
I mean, American women should just be like North Korea.
Look, was it for the 4B? No, that's South Korea. They're doing that 4B.
Is it South Korea that they're not having babies? I thought North Korea was.
Well, Kim Jong-un was definitely crying at some press conference because he wanted women to have more kids. And definitely the 4B movement, which it's been touted to be bigger than it really is. Mm-hmm. However, it is a thing, and American women need to catch on. Okay?
Well, there are a lot of countries where women are, I think Japan might be one of them, where the birth rate is really low because people are like, it is expensive to raise a family.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
Yeah, like I know I'm gonna need help, okay, financial help if I had a child. And so there's no man in sight. And so there'll be no baby in sight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not playing those games.
It's hard to do it with two people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how single parents do it, so I don't you have to have a superpower.
Women know how to do the impossible, and
it's a superpower. Women, just in general, mothers, wives,
bitch about it. Other people would, like, we just get it done.
Yeah. Shout out to the mamas and the wives and all the ladies. I just have a plant and a cat. All right, plants. Cat, all right, that's all I can handle. All right,
girl.
Well, that is it for normal-ish. It should be called sad-ish.
Sad-ish, for real, man. No more
scary-ish, because it's really scary out there, y'all. And stay woke.
Yeah. And let's kick it over let's talk about science. So I love this segment. I don't know what to name it. Like, I keep going back and forth every single time. So I might settle on we are living out a 1980 sci-fi movie or novel. Yes, we can, but we definitely shouldn't. No, we should not. We should not. Or can we not? Fuck around and find out. I'm sorry, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs today.
Should you call it Stranger Things, maybe?
Oh, Stranger Things. Oh, I like that. Is that name?
I just thought of that. Came off the dome.
I like it. So this next story is definitely a combination of all of that. And it's very sciencey. Disclaimer, I'm not a scientist, obviously. I guess that. I do read a lot of sciencey stuff, like real and fiction, because it sounds like magic and it's fun. And what I do is I'll pop it into ChatGPT and I'm like, explain this to me like I'm 5. I highly recommend it because there was an article I saw about dark matter. So dark matter and how scientists are really living out a fuck around and find out scenario in real time. So Nels, do you know, I'm sure you know what dark matter is, or you've heard about it. Do you understand it, or?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. So let me try to explain it. All right. Let's think of the universe as a big space with lots of stars, planets, and galaxies. Thank you, ChatGPT. Now, imagine you have a toy box filled with toys. You can see and touch the toys. But what if there's something in that box that you couldn't see or touch, but you knew it's there because it made the toys move in certain ways? So that invisible thing would be like dark matter, right? It's making it move. So you can't see it, but you can see that what's happening. And this is what scientists believe makes up a big part of the universe. We can't see it, we can't touch it. We know it's there because it has a strong pull, kind of like a magnet. So it's what holds all of these galaxies together and affects how they move. Or, think of it like this. You ever play that game where you rub the balloon against your hair and then it could stick to the wall? Yeah. So that invisible force that makes it stick, that's kind of like that. So it's an invisible force. So it's while this is something, it's still a little controversial. And opinions are divided on whether or not it really exists. And there's like a lot of experiments trying to figure out if it does or does not exist, all of that. So the TLDR, dark matter is mysterious, invisible stuff that keeps the universe together, even though we can't see it with our eyes. And side note, if these scientists could believe in dark matter, they can believe in freaking ghosts and aliens.
Yes, they can.
Moving on. So scientists, with this thing that we can't observe, we can't see, we can't detect, know nothing about it, they decided, why don't we trap it, right? If you don't know about it, just trap it and try to figure it out. So according to an article on thedebrief.com, scientists at the University of Nottingham have come up with a new plan to solve the dark matter mystery. They're going to trap it. You're probably wondering how, right? Like, how?
Yeah, how do you trap something that you can't really?
With a 3D printed vacuum. I don't know, girl. So it's like they're going to try to catch invisible space ghosts with a fancy 3D printed vacuum and ultra cold lithium atoms. I don't know exactly how it works. It just, again, I'm not a science. Maybe y'all can ask ChatGPT to explain it to you. But what this experiment is going to do, it's going to reveal the secrets of dark matter and dark energy. And if it's successful, it could explain why our universe is expanding at the rate that it does.
Mm-hmm.
Or not explain it, right? Like I've seen this movie somewhere several times, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine the trailer, right? In a world where invisible space ghosts roam free, a team of brave scientists decide to catch them with a 3D printed vacuum and ultra cold lithium atoms.
Boom, boom.
What that is. But will they unleash forces beyond their control? 100%. You can't see. It's like freaking Ghostbusters, but with cosmic consequences.
That's pretty dope, but also pretty trippy.
I feel like that too. Like I'm like, yo, we might learn something really cool, or
so they're like real life Ghostbusters then?
I don't like
what kind of? You know, they used to trap them in that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you could see them. It is like Ghostbusters. So we might open a portal and who knows what could come here, but hey, we're gonna do it.
Well, I have first dibs in the portal because it'll get us away from here. So I'm here for it.
You're here for it? Well, I have one more to share, just one more, because these are fun. A while back, a couple of episodes ago, I talked about like breakthrough in it's also using a 3D printer and making robots move like more like humans, right? Instead of that stiff motion, right? It would be like it would be fluid. Like if you're trying to get a cup, like it's one fluid motion, whereas the robot, the AI, you could see it thinking through and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an obsessive push to make robots as lifelike as possible. And I don't get it because I've seen Blade Runner, and I've seen other films. I know how it ends, it's a really bad idea, but I guess humans triumph in the end, but usually after the world is like torn apart, but whatever.
Hot mess. Okay, we are already a society that's like socially inept. There's like people are talking about they don't have any friends, a loneliness crisis, and now you're going to be friends with that robot. I don't know if he's her, but that's more like with being friends with AI or whatever. But
it's already happening, right? There are people with these dolls, but let me read the headline for you.
Yeah.
So in our quest to make robots as human-like as possible, so we could usher in that robot revolution that I'm obsessed about. So the headline of a June 27 Axios.com article: scientists create smiling robot face from living human skin cells. Gross. So that was a headline. So just a brief one. Scientists unveiled Tuesday a humanoid robot face they created from lab-grown self-healing human skin. How does one make whatever, another story for another day. And can you guess why they're doing this? Like, why do you think they're doing this? Janelle, any guess?
I don't know, to ultimately like replace human, maybe like labor, but still have a sense of humanity to it. I don't know.
Like why do you think they're creating the humanoid robot face what is it?
I don't know.
You don't know. Why are they creating smiling robot faces? Well, why they're doing this. The researchers from the University of Tokyo, Japan, hope the breakthrough could one day prove useful in the cosmetics industry and to help train plastic surgeons. So I'm thinking at first it's like to help burn victims, help with research, maybe cancer. No, beauty.
Wow. And beauty standards already messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to be compared to a robot whose skin was grown with self-healing skin, which the crazy part is, because there are skin grafts where you take like the cells and then you can use it to create like patches of skin for like burn victims. But I've never heard of like the self like healing, which a lot of people could use. So I don't know why this is used for robots instead of people that would really.
Yeah. Well, I think what they're using this just to in the beauty industry, right? They're just using it to train these plastic surgeons. So they're creating this lab grown from human skins, and it's just weird to me, right? Like just how much we're pushing, right, when it comes to like beauty standards, how much this is like overtaking everything. Like that industry is,
You know,
millions.
they have AI beauty pageants now, which I want to talk about because I definitely saw a video on it recently. And I'm like, if women don't feel messed up already, now you're going to be compared to women that don't even really exist. And then when you see what these women look like in the AI beauty pageants, it's like,
oh my God, that's for next. We should definitely discuss.
Yeah, I'll definitely discuss that next time. But this reminds me of Soph.
Mm-hmm.
See Silence of the Lambs when like they made the skin suit. Oh, hello, Clarice. That's what it's giving me. The skin suit guy.
Oh, let me bring up the picture. Oh,
mm-hmm.
Like, let me see. Can you see it?
Yes, that is giving Silence of the Lambs. That is creepy as hell. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, it's not human-like, but we're getting there. It's creepy as hell, but we're gonna get there. And girl, I hate it here. When is our ride to Mars coming? All right, it's all I can ask.
All right. Speaking of, that was a good segue, so I like how you did that. Right. So on to our next segment, the Mars housing draft, because Earth is ghetto, and as you can tell, and we need a contingency plan, and we have one, unlike the Dems. And so, every episode, Sophie and I nominate 3 people each to make it to Mars, but as a whole, we do 3 people each episode, right? But we also have a little twist as well. We also have who was banned from Mars, okay? Because y'all ain't gonna mess up this planet, okay? We have a do-over. I don't know if you want to go first with your choices, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I think it's gonna be quick. So the first thing I thought about is we're gonna need some teachers, right? We gotta think about the babies. Because we don't care about our kids, we don't.
That's right.
We don't love them babies.
That's right.
And we're gonna need teachers. And currently, as it stands, I hate the concept of school, right? Like I hate that my kid has to be inside a building for 6 to 7 hours a day and 18 freaking years.
Not everyone learns the same way.
Yeah, right. They get talked at, there's barely enough time for play. I think there's so little room for creativity, especially as they get older. And I don't think they're taught real life skills.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think it's really flawed, right? And this concept of kids being in school all day, it's for daycare, right? It came about in the 1800s, Industrial Revolution. Parents worked really long hours in factories, and school served as daycare. We are today, and we need to rethink that. We need to change that. But for Mars, I want teachers who are untraditional. I want them because we have to survive. We have to be creative. We have to work with what we're given. And I want these kids to be smart, but also really, really creative and all of that. So my first pick is Sugata Mitra. He's an Indian education scientist. He revolutionized learning with his hole in the wall experiment, which is where children taught themselves using a computer in a slum. And his findings showed that, so he kind of just left the computer there and kids could just kind of like come and play with it. Like no one was teaching them. So it was really self-taught, and they learned, and they were able to teach themselves and become like super good at it and smart and like doing things that you would think they would need schooling for, but no, you kind of just left. And kids are like that.
Yeah.
Kids are like that. My son could create with Legos. He could create like these really cool things. He makes them transform. He'll combine them with other things. And no one taught him that. He just sits there. He just plays with it. I wish they had more of that in schools. So this is what this guy, sort of believes in. And again, his findings show that children can self-organize their education without formal instruction. This led to the concept of SOLs, self-organized learning environments, promoting curiosity-driven education. His work underscores the power of curiosity and technology in transforming education and making learning accessible and engaging for all.
I like that. And I feel like, in college, certain colleges, you can create your own major. And so it's, kind of like that. You can be creative, but I wish we could do that for other, like.
Yeah, but it's still the same thing, right? A lot of times you're in a classroom.
Yeah.
I think maybe science might be one where, like the science field where you get like a lot of hands-on stuff through like clinics or labs or whatever. But for the most part, all I remember doing is like sitting in a room being talked at and then test.
And they don't even in schools anymore, these high schools, they used to have like home ec and
they don't
have like, wood shop. And so, because not everyone is meant to go to college, but some people are good with their hands. Maybe if you do home ec, you may want to be a chef.
Yeah.
And creativity in that way. Or maybe if you do something wood shop, you're good with your hands. And, there's other things that you can do. But if you just say you have to sit down and, it kind of limits people and does give them a chance to explore other things that they could be interested in. And even now schools are cutting arts programs and things of that nature. So it's like.
Yep. And then so Belle plays the tuba and
tuba.
I know. I was like, why would you pick this? But that's what she wanted. Ooh. And she's been playing it for 2 years now. In her middle school now, she got to learn how to play the guitar. And I remember her asking me, what instrument did I play? And I was like, I played, what is that cheap flute? That's $5.
Recorder.
Not even an actual, like a recorder. Like in New York City, that's what you got. Like, that's what I got, like, especially like in these poor areas where they have so little money. The district is so chopped up. New York City is the worst when it comes to that, right? For whatever, that's another topic for another day. But anywho, my next selection. So I only have the two because this one is a collective.
Okay.
So I want the whole crew who spent 378 days in the Mars simulator. So for over a year, 4 crew members participating in NASA's Mars Dune Alpha simulated experience communicated, ate, slept, and researched as if they were stationed over 200 million miles away on the red planet. So we go to Mars, and they went through the simulation. So we might, and so this mission, which marked the first completed installment of 3 planned programs from NASA's Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog, CHPEA, lasted 378 days. And I will say, so I was reading something and I saw the link that you could apply for it for the following year. And I thought about it. I was like, man, I got kids. I got a husband. I can't leave them for a whole year. So I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I can't imagine doing that for a whole year. But, if anyone is interested for the Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog, I think, so the deadline was April, so that already passed, but they're doing several more. So, they might release the application for 2026 sometime next year. Might be something to look into. If you want to live with 4 people in like really small spaces, create your own food and just try to, but but it's fake Mars, but I think it's better than nothing. They might have some really good stuff to tell us. And,
those are good candidates. I think we're going to get those 2 and maybe one of mine. Not really interesting. The first one's good. Okay. All right. So the first one is Victor J. Glover. He's an accomplished NASA astronaut and a U.S. Navy commander known for his significant contributions to space exploration. Selected as a NASA astronaut in 2013, Glover completed his training in 2015. He made history in November 2020 as the pilot of the SpaceX Crew 1 mission, becoming the first Black astronaut to have an extended stay aboard the International Space Station. Nice. He did like 167 hours, something like that. It was a long time. So, shout out to Victor J. Glover.
Victor.
Yes. All right. Oh, also, I forgot to say that Glover has been selected as the pilot for the Artemis 2 mission, which aims to return humans to the moon, scheduled no earlier than September 2025.
Okay. September 2025?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 2030. All right.
2025, girl.
I mean, it took us how many years now to return to the moon? Okay.
Yeah.
We lost the technology, apparently.
Mm-hmm. My next person, now talked all this shit about Biden being old. And I was like, we're gonna need laws and rule things, and
we're gonna need what?
Laws and rules for Mars, and there's gonna be politics on Mars.
No, they're not.
I just thought who would be a fair politician?
No, we're not gonna have politics. I told
Bernie Sanders.
Who?
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders will not make the trip. All right. That man is old as dirt.
I was like,
he's not making
a fair politician. We would have Bernie Sanders.
No, and we can make our own laws. We don't need an old white man making our laws for us.
Okay, I knew he wasn't gonna make it. I was just,
And I'm a Bernie fan, but no
Bernie. All right, and my last one is a Hail Mary. Dave Chappelle.
Hell no.
Yes, Dave Chappelle. We even need some comedy on Mars. I want to hear his take on Mars. Just sitting down, just spewing his thoughts about Mars and comparing it to Earth.
No, we can like, I don't know, pack some of his DVDs. I mean, he's what else has he done, like, besides make people laugh? I mean,
I don't know.
I like how he doubles down though.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, can he be on the wait list?
He could be definitely on the wait list.
Okay, he's on the wait list.
Definitely on the wait list. Okay.
So based off of these options, we're gonna go with Victor. That's the Black NASA guy, and the teacher and the Mars group people.
I did good.
You did good. Now, let's talk about people that cannot go. Now, my choice is petty, and very specific. To be banned. It's a group of people.
Okay.
These are people that play their music without headphones on the subway and in the street. You cannot come to Mars with that noise pollution. No one wants to hear you play the OJs.
No.
On the street. That's what headphones are for. They are banned. They cannot come. They have no consideration. Party, working for the man on the hot ass platform, and I don't want to hear Lil Baby. So they are banned.
I agree.
Okay.
Don't subject to your awful music.
Yes, no one wants that. Mars, we're going to be considerate.
Yeah. I have someone who's banned for infinity number of lifetimes, just in case we discover the secret to longevity. I want to make sure they never get in. So Paul Dans, he directs Heritage's the Project 25. So he directs their presidential transition project, and he also looks like Stan Smith from American Dad. I don't know if you've ever seen American Dad, but look at him, and we know. Stan is like a hardcore Republican. I think they created Stan from his image because but yes, banned for life. Before we do move on, though, I just wanted to say that the people we selected are in good company. All right. So I wanted to shout out to Tosin Oshinoa. I'm not sure if that's how I say it, but I love that name. She is a Nigerian architect and designer, renowned for her innovative and sustainable approach to architecture and design, particularly in the context of African urban environments. We are going to need all the architects, okay? Lots of them, especially those who are about sustainability and local materials. We're not going to be about wasting stuff. We're going to be sustainability. I like that word, keyword here.
right. So far, we have 2 Black architects, if I can recall, including.
Who's making that list? You make.
I'm not making the list or checking it twice. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Girl. But yeah, we have 2 Black architects.
Okay, good. All right, we got our peoples and we got our band for life list. All right.
Yes, I will definitely make sure to do that list because they're not coming. All right. We can do the conspiracy and then the shady astrology.
All right, we'll do the conspiracy. So, and I only have 2 that you get to pick from.
Okay.
The first one, 42 of our past presidents share a common ancestry. And then the next one is the byproduct of making Coca-Cola is 2 metric tons of pure cocaine annually, which is worth about $2 million. And it is sold to the U.S. government, and that is what the CIA uses to fund its illicit activities.
I think the first one is the conspiracy theory.
This one is true. It was on the news. I don't know. Maybe it's not true. But so the remarkable discovery was made by 12-year-old Bridget Davion of Salinas, California, who created a groundbreaking family tree in 2012 that connected 42 of 43 U.S. presidents to one common ancestor, King John of England, who signed the Magna Carta in 1215, which limited the monarch's power and helped form the British Parliament. He is also the villain in Robin Hood. So other studies will show that it's only 22 presidents, but this girl, she looked at both the male and female lines, and that's how she came up with her number. And it's only up until 2012. I don't care if it's 42 or 22. That is a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. Okay. And I think it's a rabbit hole worth going down. And there are other conspiracies we hear about, those who eventually become president are part of these secret societies and they're handpicked and all sorts of craziness. But I will ask you, who do you think is not connected? And it's not the obvious.
No, I actually think Barack is, I think he's connected. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he is. So, yeah. It's the 8th president, Martin Van Buren, who had Dutch roots.
Okay.
And then so the cocaine one, what's wild is the byproduct of making Coca-Cola is 2 metric tons of pure cocaine annually, which is worth about $2 million. But it's actually sold to the pharmaceutical companies, allegedly. So the Stephan Company, based in Maywood, New Jersey, is the only facility in the United States authorized by the DEA to import and process cocoa leaves. Each year, the plant receives approximately 500 metric tons of cocoa leaves, primarily from Peru and Bolivia. This results in the production of about 2 million grams or 2 metric tons of pure cocaine annually. 2 metric tons of pure cocaine annually. The cocaine produced is not intended for recreational use. Instead, it is sold to pharmaceutical companies like Malin, blah, blah, which uses it to manufacture medicinal cocaine. Hydrochloride is employed as a topical anesthetic for dental and medical procedures. But there are some conspiracy theory aspects to it. And I think we're gonna talk about that. We might talk about that next week. But we also know there are theories that, not theories, but we've heard that, how the CIA introduced crack into the Black community.
That's right.
So whether, I read it and we'll do this next time. Because I think it's one that should be told. And I know we're running out of time. So I will end it there. They do make cocaine. So in the US, in New Jersey, there is a company.
So just go to that place in New Jersey. Get you those candy. I'm not going to say no to drugs.
Yep. And when it comes to all of our, because there's a war on drugs, and we have like all of these regulations, and all of these regulations, there's a specific line in it that excludes this company and Coca-Cola. It's insane to me because all they just use that whatever. But yeah, so that's all.
All right, so y'all, time for some shady astrology where I get all up in your zodiac's ass. Yes, I got it with the crabby crabs, the crabby cancers last time. It's still their season. So we're going to talk about the moon in Leo. As I explained before, every 2.5 days, the moon cycles into a different zodiac. So we're still in Leo. And so, Leo, little lions.
Little lions.
Leos, it brings a unique influence on emotions, behavior, and interactions. The moon represents our emotional nature, instincts, and subconscious mind, while Leo, a fire sign ruled by the sun, is associated with qualities like creativity, leadership, and a desire for recognition. That's right, because some of y'all Leos just want to be just all up in the videos. Just doing a lot. Like, look at me, Leo.
On it, right? I don't know.
Look at me, Leo.
All right, Leo.
So during this time, you may experience heightened creativity and passion, a desire for recognition and appreciation, and generosity and warmth. All right, little lions. Now, on the other hand, you could also experience ego and pride, a need for admiration, which can sometimes lead to stubbornness, and you might struggle with criticism and being overly sensitive to your public image. Right? Also, attention-seeking behavior, tendency to seek attention and validation, and it sometimes comes off as a little self-centered, and emotional highs and lows. So y'all, if you're experiencing these things during this time, it's because the moon is in Leo. So some suggestions of what you should do with all this kind of energy. Go to social events and gatherings, but it's hot outside, so these gatherings need to be inside where there's air conditioning and seating, all right? Because I'm not going anywhere until the sun goes down, all right? Get involved with creative projects. Like, it's ideal for starting or continuing artistic endeavors like painting, writing, or performing. Did you hear that, so?
I did hear that.
And leadership roles. Taking on leadership roles or initiatives can be particularly successful.
I like that.
Yeah, Has any of this applied to you? Have you been feeling this energy?
I have been feeling this energy, especially the creative one. And I did tell the man or the woman today, I'm like, you know what? I don't like the tone of your emails.
Ooh.
Like, you made it sound like I don't know what I'm doing. Respectfully. So, that's leadership, right? I'm like, you're not just gonna talk to me anyway, I should have responded. I hope this email finds you well.
Ooh, that's like the passive aggressive spiciness that I appreciate. Can I tell ChatGPT to write a passive aggressive email telling them I'm not going to do that?
You should. It will.
Let me see if we'll do that. But anyway,
humor too. So
yeah. Anyway, y'all, that is it for this episode. We hope that you laughed a little. We sure know that you cried because of the state of the world. And we hope that you made you think just a little bit more. Until next time. And guys, stay cool because it is hot. Okay. Also, prayers out to Texas and also like the Caribbean with like the storm barrel. Yeah. What's happening. All right, y'all. Till next time.
Bye.